Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely transform Unit 32 into your ultimate travel survival guide. You know that tiny moment of panic when you're on the road and just can't find the exact right word? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, you're in the right place, because today we are breaking down the essential English travel vocabulary you need to communicate with total 100% confidence. So, picture this. You're standing in the middle of a massive, echoing railway station in a foreign city. Or maybe you're trying to weave your way through a wildly busy international airport. It's totally overwhelming, right? Our goal today is to give you the exact tools, the precise English words to navigate those spaces like a total pro. We're going to replace that travel anxiety with absolute clarity and lock these crucial terms right into your memory. Here's a quick look at our itinerary for today. We'll be covering modes of transport, essential travel items, trains and planes, hitting the road, and finally, giving travel directions. Let's kick things off with Section 1, modes of transport. Basically, how we get from A to B. Now, let's talk ground transport. You've got your classic bright yellow taxi, the sleek motorcycle, and the train. But here's the trick. You don't just go in these. In English, the verbs really matter. You take a taxi, you ride a motorcycle or a motorbike, and you take or catch a train. Nailing these verb combinations is honestly your first step to sounding like a natural. But hey, your journey might not just be on standard roads or tracks, right? You might find yourself hopping on a massive red double-decker bus to weave through a busy city, or even taking to the skies in a helicopter. These are key modes of transport that really expand your vocabulary way beyond just the basic car or plane. All right, moving right along to Section 2, essential travel items. These are the absolute must-haves for your journey. Okay, so it is absolutely crucial to know these foundational terms because, let's face it, they pretty much dictate your entire trip. First up, your map. You've got to know where you are. Then, your timetable. This is huge. It's the screen or document that tells you exactly when your ride departs and arrives. Then you've got your luggage, which is just a catch-all term for all your bags and suitcases. And finally, the official stuff, your passport, which you literally have to have ready to show at customs. And customs is just that specific area at the border or airport where officials check what you're bringing into the country. Let's jump into Section 3, trains and planes. Here is how you navigate the big transit hubs. Let's say you're looking at your timetable and heading to, well, let's say Toulouse. You need to know exactly what kind of journey you're in for. Are you on a direct train, or do you have to change trains? A direct train is the dream. You sit down, relax, and you don't move until you're there. Changing trains, on the other hand, means you have to physically get off your first train at an intermediate station and board a completely different one. Mix those two up, and you could literally derail your entire itinerary. And once you know your train, you actually have to find it. You've probably heard those booming overhead announcements, right? The train arriving at platform 3, well, you need to know what a platform actually is. It's simply the designated physical area, that raised concrete section right next to the tracks, where you stand to wait for your train. Now, let's take to the skies. Flight terminology is super specific. Taking off is that exact, thrilling moment when the plane accelerates and actually leaves the ground. On the flip side, landing is the moment the wheels touch down at your destination. You're going to hear these terms constantly, like, what time does the plane take off? Or the plane lands in New York at 2:30. The whole airport sequence has its own strict vocabulary too. When you're flying, you typically need to check in at the airport about 2 hours before departure. Though, let's be real, online check-in is super common now and a great phrase to use. Once you're checked in, you get your boarding card. Guard this with your life. It's your proof of ticket and your seat assignment, and you'll hand it over to the flight attendant, the professional working on the plane, when you finally step on board. Section 4, hitting the road. This is everything you need for cars and driving. Okay, I really want to highlight this one because it's a super common mistake. If you need a vehicle for a week while you're on holiday, you are hiring a car. Hiring means paying to use it temporarily. This is vastly different from buying a car, which means you're paying to own it forever. You definitely do not want to tell a local you just bought a car for your weekend getaway when you actually just hired it. And once you've successfully hired that car, you're inevitably gonna need to visit a service station. The magic phrase here is filling it up with petrol. Whether you call it petrol or gas, depending on what part of the world you're in, the actual action of putting fuel into the tank so the thing can actually run is called filling it up.
Now, what if you're not the one driving? Someone might offer you a really friendly phrase. Can I give you a lift? Now, don't panic. They aren't offering to physically pick you up in their arms, and they definitely aren't talking about an elevator. In English, giving someone a lift just means they're offering you a free ride in their car to your destination. It's an awesome phrase to know and a really nice one to offer someone else.
And finally, Section 5, giving travel directions. Let's put all of this into practice. Check out this real-world scenario straight from the text. Notice how perfectly the verbs and nouns we just learned string together. First, you take a number 10 bus to the station. Once you're there, you take a train to Big Town. During the ride, you pay attention so you can get off at the second stop. And finally, to complete the trip, you take a taxi to John's house. It's structured, it makes perfect sense, and it uses all that exact vocabulary we've just mastered. You know, language really is your ultimate passport. It opens doors, it prevents those massive travel headaches, and it turns stressful situations into completely smooth journeys. So I want to leave you with this one question. Where are you traveling next to put these words into practice? Whether you're taking a direct train, flashing your boarding card, or just giving a new friend a lift, you now have the tools to do it in English with absolute confidence. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and hey, safe travels out there.